So this is one of the screencast. I try to talk the new screencast. If I have enough time, as soon as possible, I will build those screencasts based on the same functionalities based on the leaflet JavaScript library, except the OpenLayer libraries. That's why I said who are interested, not the OpenLayers, they can use also the leaflet libraries. That's why that was the idea, to make those screencasts. Then I can cover all of them. So you see the all functionalities you can pop up, the all necessary information. This was the every one of the applications, almost the enterprise level applications, to monitor or for visualize the real estate or city buildings or city housing informations with the leaflet JavaScript based library, and then some graphical information about the mobility, and even though the use cases, the 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 building information use cases, you can get it from here. So I will show you detail when I start the development, how can from the very beginning level to the end level. Just follow the channels and then you get it. Some subscribe the channels, you can get the update information when I started that. So it will be the screencast number 44.1, something like that, and that's why. So this is one of the further development. You see the information that's here, and then this is one of the initial UI for those development, and then I will continue the next developments for these cases. I would like to thanks you for the theory part. Let's start the development part for the screencast number 37. So this is the screencast number 37. That's we already talk about detailed informations. We already talk about the project structure and all things information. You see I already talk about this is the leaflet one. So I go there. So I already talk about this detail about the screencast number 37.1. That is how can you start, and then this is all the libraries that I already talk about. How can you build your own libraries, and then so on and so forth. So I already put my source code in the big GitHub, so you can take the source code from the GitHub. You see the GitHub. I will just subscribe channels and you get the all necessary update what you need, and all the JavaScript libraries here that you need, jQuery and graphic canvas graphs libraries, and so on and so forth. All the plotting libraries is there. So just follow this previous one, and then I will continue the next one. So let's have a start. This is the structure of the projects. This is I said there is no IDE or integrated UI development framework. It's very simple. You have a very simple HTML page and JavaScript libraries and all dependency all together, and it works perfectly. That's I said in my here there is a C drive, and then very simple HTML page, nothing to do special, and then it works automatically for both cases. If you use the really professional structure for the Angular or TypeScript or any JavaScript frameworks for building the web GIS programming, and you can integrate those. That's the things that I said in here my channels. There is many videos to the playlist, depending on the technology stack that you are looking for, the Java web programming, WebGIS programming, WebGIS programming with the simple, very simple HTML or JavaScript libraries. And if you have a like the desktop based GIS programming, you can learn from here. There's a lot of possibility what you can do, and then just follow the channel. I believe you can get really good ideas what I mean, what I understand, what understanding. You see that there are 14 videos based on the Node, Angular, Leaflet, and JavaScript library, GeoServer, and then so on and so forth. There is a 13 libraries from the OpenLayer based and the same functionalities that you are looking for. That one really this is the really professional example that I'm here putting it. But I believe for the beginner, if they start from the very beginning level, they can get it properly and then really build a professional application. That's I mean. So this is our HTML page. That's I mean the further development. We already talk about the detail, how can you build your own functions, and then you see you see your own or JavaScript functions you need to write down? That's one of the big questions coming from the user, from the many subscribers. They are asking me to give it to you very basic ideas or very basic understanding for the beginner who can who do know the JavaScript. How can he write down the JavaScript function, how JavaScript object array, and then also on so forth functionalities. But I didn't have enough time, but I cannot promise you then what when I have times, then I try to build my best to give it to really introduction level information. How can you write down some JavaScript functions and how JavaScript works, and how can you integrate those JavaScript library into the your HTML. But then this example I already talk about that one, but in the many subscribers asking me to give it to really very beginning level information. I said them Google it, or W3 schools is the best solutions. You can go there and look for that one. How can you start the JavaScript programming? And then write down some very simple functions, and you understand how can you build a JavaScript function and integrate those things into the your web application, WebGIS application. So we have said dynamic station layers that you saw already in the station layers. Dynamic stations, I mean here the station layers. You see the dynamic station layer. So it's a mobile station, the mobile communication station layers. So I mean this, how can you build dynamically, even though the link station layers and all the station layer information you can build from here. That's I mean the dynamic station layer. This is programmatically built. You can do what you like to do. That's I mean this is really intention for those projects. Or maybe this is the one of the use case. You can have the different use cases depending what use case that you have it, but it is containing all the features and functionalities that's generally geoinformatics, the geoprogrammer needed. So you can build your own, and even though you can make it like this one, and even the line polygons, that's things you can do also. And then even though you can build so many things, and then you can, depending what you mean, what you do, and that's use cases, even though you can record it, those information, you see that you can build the points also depending. And then all things is possible, and then you can track this point information, put it into a database, and build another object, and then see on so forth. The mapping functionality, this is works automatically. Zoom in, zoom out, navigator functionality is working. That's I mean the basic functionality. The scaling is works, and the overview maps is still it's working. And here see the, if I low down, you see the coordinates points is still working, so perfectly what we expected. And that's a really cool things you can learn from here. And then if you are not interested to see the coordinates points, and then you can also the overview maps, and then you see the overview maps is really switching and switch off. That's all the things works properly. That's really functional web page or functional programming for here. So that means we have dynamic station coordinates points. So we already build it, or discuss it, how can it build it. So it has a projection from, because we are using the both side maps from the OpenStreetMaps and then also Google Map. That's why we need to be projection transformations. It has a very simple X and Y coordinates, latitude, longitude coordinates, and then build these functions, and it's returning the point features with the additional features information, how the CSS, how the styling work. And then this is the link layers that's used for already. So link means it here in between this, the two station link layer, and then that's you can show the base station link layer among the two station. That's mine. The link functions, you can go the link functions, dynamic stations link layers, just simple X and Y. The starting S means starting and end point. So you have make it like two lines from start point to end point. Very simple. You have start points and the end points, and link between the, create the link line string functions, and then build the points, bend the lines, and then add some styling. Maybe you have different styling for to add these functionalities, and then so on and so forth. That's I mean. Just follow the previous one. You can get really clear discussion about that one. And this is the dynamic stations point layers. That you see the points in the for the each points. You see that this is the station points for the tower, GSM mobile communication towers, and then you put it the image, and then see the additional information that you need to go there, the additional information. And this is the point layers, and add to the points the features functionalities with that one.